Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham International in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally, and I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse on YouTube and the various groups from around the world. My topic for discussion today is going to be sensitive but relevant. I've stated throughout my life as a guru that in order to sit here today and expound the Lord's absolute truth, I had to myself experience every facet of whatever I preach. So when I preach through experience, wisdom gained from that experience, corroborated by the Lord's scriptures, spoken by Himself. So scriptural injunctions are the constitutional laws promulgated by the Lord Himself. All scriptural injunctions, be it from the Vedas, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, these are constitutional laws. These laws override all other laws. For example, in South Africa we have the Magistrates Court, then we have the High Court, we have the Supreme Court, Jessica, and then we have the Constitutional Court. And we saw our own beloved President, who spent his life making sure this country has a constitution, who spent his life and sacrificed his life making sure that we have a functional judiciary. He himself, when he transgressed the Constitutional Court, he was put behind bars. He was made to pay. Our former president, President Jacob Zuma, the architect, one of the architects for our democracy, who practically sacrificed his life, which means nothing can go beyond a law. No one can transgress these laws. Like Jacob Zuma, our former president, the Lord also comes down to this earth, and all the laws that He promulgated, He Himself has to abide in it. He Himself has to abide within these laws that He promulgated, notwithstanding the fact that He is the Supreme Lord Himself. So the constitutional law specific today to my discourse of the Vedas is the Vedas. for those who claim to be followers of Sanatan Dharma or Hinduism. Anyone who claims to be a Hindu, anyone who claims to be a Hindu or a follower of Sanatan Dharma, then that person must abide by the laws of the Vedas. If that person is not following the Vedas, then that person cannot claim to be a Hindu. You're a fake Hindu. You are a fake Hindu. There's no two types of Hindus. There is only one type of Hindu. There is one type of Christian. There is one type of Muslim. There is one type of Jew. All of you understand? You cannot follow your own path. You cannot follow your own path. You cannot create your own tradition. You cannot create your own system. Otherwise, God is a fool. Otherwise, God is a fool. God incarnated and taught man how to be an ideal human being in his incarnation as Lord Ram. Originally, the Ramayana is 100,000 verses. Originally, the Ramayana is 100,000 verses. These 100,000 verses are distributed across the universe, and on planet Earth, for the benefit of man, Valmiki's Ramayana is 20,000 verses. You think God incarnated, stayed on this earth, enacted the Vedas so that you can create your own system? And this is why I'm saying, if God is not a fool, then who is a fool? Those who claim to be Hindus and who's not following the Ramayana. Those who claim to be Hindus who's not following the Mahabharata, because God came in two perfect incarnations. One as Lord Ram, which is depicted, and he lived in accordance with Vedic injunctions, and the other is the Mahabharata, where he lived in conjunction with Vedic injunctions. We don't want any human gods. God doesn't want any human gods. God does not want any human gods, and only God can change the Vedic injunction. Only God can change the Vedic injunction. If he says, take out water in the morning on a tulsi tree facing east, and you have a big tree in front of you, and you decide to face south, is that ritual authentic? It's not authentic. Similarly, anything you do out of the Vedas, you're a fool. You're a fool if you claim to be a Hindu. If you claim to be a Hindu and you follow your own traditions, you do not verify these traditions, then you're a fool. Because every criminal is a fool. Every criminal is a fool. Because if a criminal was perfect, Satish Bhai, he won't get caught. He won't get caught. If a criminal was perfect, he won't get caught. Because he does not look at every aspect of the law, he is always caught with his hand in the cookie jar. All these rogues get caught, don't they? Yes. Similarly, if you are not following the Vedas, that is why don't look at me with big eyes and I'm talking to small Satish. Alright? You will get caught. Especially Satish Bhai, if your face is blocked by a mask and I only see two big eyes looking at me, it's frightening. Even though I'm the Guru. Guru is not used to huge eyes looking at him. All of you understand? So when the Lord himself, Lord Sri Ram and Lord Sri Krishna takes birth, in the infancy, they surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Lord Ram's Guru was Vasistha Muni, and Lord Sri Krishna's Guru was Sandipan Muni. They surrendered fully. Lord Ram surrendered fully to his Guru, and Lord Krishna surrendered fully to his Guru Satish Bhai. The bigger your eyes go, I'll still continue with my Vedic injunctions. Satish Bhai, now his eyes has gone Chinese slits. Okay, I'm only joking, Satish Bhai. Alright? If the Lord surrenders to a Guru on this planet Earth, for who is that surrender? For what impact is that surrender? Why would the Lord, the Supreme Lord, the creator of this universe and billions of universe, when he enters the material atmosphere and he surrenders to a bona fide Guru, for who and what purpose does he make this surrender? So now why are you swearing your wife? Oh, man's benefit. I thought you were swearing your wife. For man's benefit. You think he does it for his benefit? Why does the Lord incarnate in the first place? So now, why does the Lord incarnate in the first place? To show man how to live. To show man how to live. And that is why Lord Sriman Narayan incarnated as Lord Sri Krishna and Lord Ram to show Sanatan Dharmis who call themselves Hindus how to live. Sanatan Dharmis who call themselves Hindus how to live. If you do not follow the Lord's way, then you are a criminal Hindu. You are a... If you do not follow the constitutional law of this country, then you're a criminal South African. Yes or no? You're a criminal South African. If you do not follow the Lord's constitution in Sanatan Dharma, then you are a criminal Sanatan Dharmi. If you are a criminal in this country, what benefits can you derive from this country? Katija? None. So if you are a criminal Hindu or Sanatan Dharmi, what benefit can you derive from Sanatan Dharma? Is it logical? Does it make sense? By not following a Veda, you're a criminal by default, aren't you? Yes or no? Do you have any excuse for not following the Vedas? Because the Lord entered the material atmosphere and lived within the filth of this material atmosphere to teach you how to live. To teach you how to live. And the very first example of his on both occasions was to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master and follow the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master. Did Lord Ram propose to Sita without asking his guru? Did he break the bow of Lord Shiva without taking grace from his guru? Every action of Lord Ram was in conjunction with taking blessings from his guru. Everything that Lord Ram did in his life, he did it with his guru's grace. And if the Lord can do that, and if you believe you don't have to do that, then you have to be greater than the Lord. Are you greater than the Lord? Yes, you are. Those that do not take injunctions, those that are Hindus or Sanatan Dharmis that do not follow the Lord, it means you are greater than the Lord. Is that logical or not logical? If you go to school and your teacher gives you assignments and tests, and if you don't follow the assignments and tests, it means you are more intelligent than your... Why are you smiling, Tiveshne? It means your teacher is a fool. It means your teacher is a fool. You know more than your teacher. So I said at the beginning, today's topic is sensitive, and that the Guru himself lived through every aspect that whoever is experienced wherever in this world. And today's topic is Hindu marriages. Hindu marriages. I wanted to give you that background so that you can interface it with the Guru's experience and the experience of many going forward. So, is marriage a Vedic injunction? Yes or no? Is marriage part of God's constitutional law? And it is for this reason that God does not send one of the 330 million Devis and Devtas to go witness a marriage. God does not send one of the 330 million Devis and Devtas that are worshipped in temples around the world. Ritualistically. How? Ritualistically. 330 million Devis and Devtas are worshipped through rituals around the world. God does not trust them to witness a wedding. So Lord Sriman Narayan and Mother Lakshmi attends every Sanatan Dharmic wedding. Lord Sriman Narayan and Mother Lakshmi attends every Sanatan Dharmic wedding. And a marriage in Sanatan Dharma is the 7 vows only. A marriage in Sanatan Dharma is to invite. How many of you in your wedding cards have invited Lord Sriman Narayan and Mother Lakshmi to your wedding? Who is the most important entity at a wedding? On whose name are you taking the vows? So the Lord is the most important entity at a wedding. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the most important entity at a wedding. Sita, when you get married, make sure Lord Sriman Narayan, Mother Lakshmi, the 330 million Devis and Devtas, and there are billions of Devis and Devtas without portfolio. Invite all of them, Sita. Otherwise this universe will dissolve before its time of destruction. Okay? All of you understand? So in a wedding, when you are planning a wedding, you start with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He and Mother Lakshmi are the 2 names that are present at your wedding, and they witness the vows that you take in Sanskrit. They witness the vows you take in Sanskrit. So I want to go back to my own wedding. I want to go back to my own wedding. So there was a problem right from the beginning. Right from the beginning. I met Mataji in Standard 9. Her parents were involved in bhajan singing like Premila. Premila is very happy just now when I tell her the other part. She won't be smiling. Did I move the camera? So I went there one Sunday whilst they were gone to satsang, and I saw something in the pot that was cooked which I felt was not right for a person who's singing bhajans and having that in the pot to come back and eat on the same day for breakfast. I was only in Standard 9, but I told you I was very, very principled in life. So I made it known to Mataji, and those of you who know Mataji and a big mouth, made it known to her mother. Made it known to her mother. And the hatred I spoke about last week, remember last week? I spoke about hatred. That hatred was opened full volume. Full volume. Then my mum and I were invited, and we both were treated like dirt. We both were treated like dirt. But before that, I went down with a packet of biscuit. A few weeks before that, I went down with a packet of biscuit, and I was interviewed by Mataji's mother, and she said, you in standard 9, you don't come from a rich family, you living there by your auntie's house, where will you accommodate my daughter? I was a very poor son-in-law. Where would you accommodate my daughter? And I said, I'll start off in a outbuilding. I want to study medicine. And after I qualify as a doctor, I'll earn some money and buy a house. And she was not too happy because I was in standard 9. So I had 2 years in school and 7 years, 9 years. 9 years. Then I was living with my aunt, and for our wedding a dynamic was created because other people were involved. In fact, I was not ready to get married. I was not ready to get married, but Mataji's mother and father forced the issue. I wanted 3 years more. They brought it forward. They continued hounding me until I had to relent. And the marriage came. I'm happy one of my sons is listening, because he always blames his father for all the wrong that happens to him in his life. So today I'm going international, and let's see after today whether he blames his dad. So this wedding was brought forward 3 years. And in this dynamic, because people from the outside were handling everything, my mum did not attend the wedding. And I asked her to forgive me because I was young. I was in my early 20s. I was caught up with this situation where the material wedding was more important than taking full blessings from all sides. At that point in time, I was an atheist, so there were no spiritual relief or religious relief. So this wedding happened in an atmosphere of total negativity. The important part is that many of you would have witnessed I am multi-talented. So at that point in time, one of my talents that was flourishing was panel beating and spray painting. So I joined the police force. I was a student, and I panel beated one white policeman's car. I was stationed at a white station with 130 whites, 130 blacks, and 7 Indians. And when other policemen saw this shining car, I started panel beating cars from the police station itself. And I used this money to do my wedding. Both, Mataji's mother said, we just did a wedding last year. We won't be able to afford a good wedding. But I was getting married, so I didn't care from which side, who did what. I wanted a proper wedding. So I worked 6 days a week in the police force, 6 to 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 6 shift. And my 3.5 days, and the 2 half days and the day during the night, I panel beated vehicles myself, no labor, stripping, assembling, painting, everything myself. I made beautiful cards for both sides, gold embossed cards. I made it for her side, I made it for my side. Everything I did equal for Mataji's side and for my side. Then I informed Mataji's mother that a lot of my friends are attending this wedding. Will you have capacity to cook the biryani or must I cook the biryani? She said, no, don't worry, I'll cook the biryani. I think she'll be here in 2 weeks' time. She's coming to visit the ashram. But the truth have to be told. You understand? So I went. The wedding was in a absolutely bad consciousness. My mom was not there. My aunties and uncles were there. Some policemen played the part of brother and big brother and small brother, all those things you do in a Hindu wedding. It was always my desire to own my own classic wedding car. And although I was a student, I think we have those photographs here, I bought a brand new 3-liter Ford GLS. And that was my own wedding car. I was still a student in the police force. Okay, but that was my desire, and my own car was my wedding car. I'm just giving you some direct information, indirect information. I'm showing you the Guru was a human, the Guru is still a human, and when the Guru dies, he'll still be a human. The only difference between the Guru and you is the Guru is giving you perfect knowledge. The Guru is giving you perfect knowledge. Satish Bhai is enjoying this. He'll watch this discourse over and over. This might be Satish Bhai's best discourse, Jessica. All right. So I was not concentrating at the wedding itself, and all the vows were being said. And I don't know if Mataji retrieved one of the videos because I burnt everything that belonged in this wedding. So when I took water and threw over my head, which leads me to the previous night, satisfied? Which leads me to the previous night, and the song African Queen. Who sang African Queen? Billy Ocean. That song was number 1 along in the world at that point in time. So naturally, many of the policemen attended my wedding, both black and white. They attended the night before. So the whole driveway was full of police vehicles. And my auntie, my mom's sister, would make the best mixed veg pickle. So would the curries, there were bowls of mixed veg pickles, and because I had blacks and whites and they don't know mixed veg pickle from veg curry, they ate the pickle as curry, and they were sweating profusely. Thank God we had many types of liquids to pacify them. Many types of liquids. Guru also partook in some of those other types of liquids besides water, and this is why the next day the hand was not in a right position, and when he said throw water over yourself, if we find the video, you'll see I knocked my turban off. I told you, Satish Bhai is going to enjoy this discourse, alright? If Mataji finds that video, then you can watch this video. I can't remember the priest anyway. Okay? But I remember going upstairs to have a good meal. So we went upstairs, and what do you think I see? Bhajia and tea. Bhajia and tea. Mataji's mother frauded this wedding. She frauded this wedding. I worked day and night for months on end, and I paid for everything from the girl side. I paid for everything from the girl side, and I volunteered to also cook the biryani. If I paid for everything, how much was a biryani in those days? Isabai is not here. I would have asked him, Jessica, remind me if he comes during my discourse, I'll ask him, all right? Now you tell me, how would you feel going up as a 22-year-old military man, Satish Bhai? As a military man, fully trained military man, going up to eat bhajia and tea on your wedding day. So I booted the table, caught Mataji, and people said, please don't break up that tie. You are tied, otherwise your marriage will have a problem. And I dragged her downstairs, pushed her into the car. My friend is late now. He was the fastest driver of a V6. We were V6 Ford fanatics. V6 Ford fanatics. They had the souped up version. Me being me, I bought the executive version. Alright, we had Capris, we had Escorts, we had every Ford. Blue Lagoon, if it could talk, that old hairpin bend. We were there every Saturday night. So when my friend saw that we were leaving in a hurry, and I had 8-inch rims, I wish you could, Hemita, if we find the album, post 2 photographs of my car. I'm talking so much about my car on this discourse. I had 8-inch chrome rims. I made them split the rim in half and widen it. All right. That car left with a genuine bona fide wheel spin. And our marriage was in a wheel spin for 13 years. Mataji's mother did not stop interfering. She asked me where I was going to live. We were the 4th married. Mataji is the 4th daughter. Whilst the 1st, 2nd and 3rd daughter were living in outbuildings, they had cars that you had to kickstart in the morning. We were living in 55 Pempali Way, number 1. In my own duplex. I had the latest technology video machine, latest technology television set, latest fridge, latest stove, room dividers. You remember the room dividers? And the lazy boy just came out. Lazy boy, and I was the boss. Under my lazy boy, there was something there, Naveen Bhai. I should relax. I should have my liquids from under the lazy boy. I had a bar. I had a bar cabinet in my lounge. And I was an ordinary policeman. Ordinary policeman. God gave me everything, and Mataji was eating out of a golden spoon. She had a license. She could drive. The meat in our fridge had to be thrown across into the bush every month to the wild cats, because the next month's meat we couldn't finish what we had in the previous month. But Mataji's mother could not see this state where I have put myself. And she kept coming, she kept interfering for 13 years until we got divorced. We got divorced. Because the wedding was not pure. Wedding was not pure. Consciousness of the wedding was not pure. The vows taken was not pure, and there was outside interference. And this is common amongst Indians. This is common amongst Indians. The outsiders put on a show as if they are getting married. They are the substratum of the wedding. But who suffers when this happens? Who suffers? The actual people that's taken the vow suffers. These extended families, uncles, aunties, 45th connections, all these people come and become bosses in the wedding. Yes or no? After the wedding, they say the food was not right, the bride's sari was not right, the groom's always wear cream, the cream was slightly off. Yes? 3 months down the line, the two people that got married, they're living in hell. Where are these people that claim to be the genuine aspects of this wedding? Where are they? Do you all get them in your family? Satisbhai? Yes, sir. Do we experience this? When your two boys are getting married, you'll find from both sides of the family everyone saying how, which, where, how things must get done. You understand? And if you don't listen to them, they get upset, don't they? But when the marriage is in a problem, where you think those people are? Okay? So, I'm going to just get to the point. Vishwadhar Ramanuj Das is planning his second wedding. His first wedding was very public. But what people don't know is that I did not approve. I did not approve of the person that he was getting married to. However, because he is my disciple and he requested my involvement in the wedding, I acceded. That same wedding was cancelled. That same wedding was cancelled, and then they set another wedding date. So I tried my best. Don't close the door, you're disturbing. I tried my best to convince Vishwadhar not to get married to that particular girl. And you all know Vishwadhar, those of you that know him. His spreadsheet and analysis told him that just being acquainted to the Guru, his marriage will work out. His family may think that the cause of the first marriage not working was the Guru. So this is why I'm stating, I hope he makes them listen to this discourse. It was not the Guru. The Guru had nothing to do with this boy's wedding. He was adamant. It was not the Guru's choice. He was adamant he wanted to get married. And like I do with everyone else, I acceded to his request. Now, he is getting married again, which is good because I think he is the first disciple in the Sri Sampradaya to have 2 weddings in 3 years. So he has set we don't want to say precedent. He just set his own Vishwadhar record. Alright? So maybe this is God's way of teaching him not to be a Maha-Kanjus. Because the other wedding took a whole lot of money, and I think he just recovered. And now there's another wedding. So God sent people to take away your money if you hoard it, Vishwadhar. Sometimes some fake wives come and take it away. So we're sitting with a predicament at a moment. At this wedding, in a sense that his brother's wife is going to give birth, and his wedding date is almost in the same time. What does Sanatan Dharma has to say about this? What do we follow? Who do we follow? You saw when the Guru followed confusion, what happened to the Guru's life? You understand? When you are in a situation like this, especially in Vishwadhar's case, who is Vishwadhar today? Is he Yatin Soni or is Vishwadhar Ramanujdas? He is. When you take initiation, you lose your old identity and you lose your old traditions and customs. Yes? If you're a Hindu and you want to embrace Islam, then you take initiation into Islam. You will be given a Islamic name. Some people will still call you by your old name. You may still be registered in your old name, but you will live according to your new name, new tradition, and new custom. What is the law in this? What is the law legally? If you transform yourself from one dimension to another dimension, which dimension must function in your life? That one that you transformed to. For convenience, you cannot slip into your old dimensions to pacify a certain need. You cannot. I want to give you a practical example. When you are in metric, you get a metric certificate. When you qualify in university, you get your university certificate. Yes or no? Would you, whilst you are in university, after you passed, your university, would you use your metric certificate Alaikum Salam. Would you use your metric certificate for any legal transactions? You went to metric, you passed your metric, you got a metric certificate. Then you went to university, you got your university degree. Which document becomes legal between the two? Your degree. You cannot use now your metric certificate if the degree is not satisfying some need. Then you say, no, I passed metric, and if metric is satisfying a particular need, then you can't abolish your degree and step down to your metric certificate, can you? So Sanatan Dharma has two aspects. Sanatan Dharma has two aspects. The ritualistic and the spiritual. The ritualistic aspect and the spiritual aspect. When you take initiation, it means you have now discarded your ritualistic aspect of Sanatan Dharma, and you have now embraced the spiritual aspect of Sanatan Dharma. You are in the same education system. When you are in metric, don't you belong to the Department of Education in this country? And when you are in university, don't you belong to the Department of Education in this country? You are in the same system, but you have evolved in a higher system. University is higher than metric. Spirituality is higher than rituals. Spirituality is higher than rituals. When you come to a stage in your life and you realize that all these rituals that I have done in my life only gives me temporary relief. I am now seeking for a permanent relief. Then you leave your ritualistic portion of the Vedas. Both are one combined education, the ritualistic and the spiritualistic. But you transcend from the ritualistic to the spiritualistic. You leave behind temporary relief. You are now seeking for permanent relief. The cosmic administrators can only give you temporary relief because they are temporary themselves. They are temporary themselves. You understand? The Supreme Lord can give you supreme relief because He is eternal. He is eternal. So when we discuss marriage, if the people getting married belong to the ritualistic portion of the Vedas, then they must consult the Manu Smriti, and all the aspects of the wedding is there. When they are on the spiritual side, then you follow the injunctions of your Sampradaya. Which university you belong in, you follow the injunctions of that university. So the question is at this point in time, that when somebody gives birth in a family, then when it becomes legal for a wedding to take place. When it becomes legal for a wedding to take place. Haji Yunus, I welcome you to our Sunday satsang. I'm happy to see you and Bhabhi here today. Maybe you can inform us what happens in Islam if somebody gives birth and there's a wedding to take place. We shift the wedding date? How we solve it? How many days? 40 days. Okay, so Haji Yunus is right. That is a Vedic, that is an Islamic injunction. All right. The Vedas state that the state of ritual impurity, lasts for between 7 and 11 days. 7 and 11 days, but it can extend to 21 days. So now I want to give you the scientific reason. Because people are confusing, Vishwadhar's family is confusing prayer and birth and wedding. Prayer, birth and wedding. So, how many people gave birth in this hall? Put your hands up. Besides you, Sita, you didn't give birth yet. Sita, beside you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Niral, your hands up. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in my hall gave birth. When you gave birth, how excruciating was the pain? Pramila? Did you not pray to God? Did you not pray to God? In every moment of giving birth, from the time that your water burst until the child came out of your womb, were you not in prayer? Were you not in prayer? That time there's no mother, there's no father, there's no husband. There is only the Lord and you. That's how excruciating the pain is. Yes or no? So can anyone deny a woman prayer at the time of death? Birth. Is it natural? Is it logical? When the pain is so excruciating, it is a natural human function to slip into unconscious prayer. Unconscious prayer. So you are in prayer whilst you are giving birth. Aren't you? How many days does the pain last? A week? A week? More than a week for some? 2 weeks, 10 days? Painful. Whenever that deep pain inflicts you, what do? Oh God. Oh God. Yes or no? So throughout that birth, from the point of birth, throughout all those 10, 12 days, the mother is praying. The mother is praying. What is the use of locking up your temple? If the mother herself, who is involved in this birth, the actual participant who's involved in this birth, she is worshipping the Supreme Lord continuously from this birth until all those days. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of closing the temple? I want to know. Do you understand? Then, what is the reason that the mother is not allowed to perform rituals? And I want you to understand two things. Prayer and rituals is chalk and cheese. Rituals is something else and prayer is something else. So the Vedas ask the mother, who the Vedas ask? The mother not to perform rituals. The Vedas does not stop the mother from praying. And the reason the Vedas stop the mother from not performing rituals is that those ingredients or items that's going to be used in rituals is handled by many people. And she is in a immediately after giving birth, she is prone to infection. And the baby is prone to infection. And if you come out of your room and go into a room full of people, generally in Vedic times, grandfather, 10 sons. Jeba, how many sons, how many brothers you got? You lucky. You come in from the Vedic times. Generally, like my grandfather, he had 13 children. Then all his sons lived with him. And all his sons had about 4 children each. In that situation, if there is a birth, in that communal living, if there is a birth, then the mother must not perform any rituals, so that whole household will stop rituals for a scientific reason. And the scientific reason is the mother must not get infected and the child must not get infected. Do you understand? Outside your house there is a temple, people can go every day, bow down, the Lakshmi must be lit 24 hours. That got nothing to do with anything else. Nothing to do with anything else. Do you understand? All of you understand? What is a marriage? What's the definition of a marriage? Two humans taking a vow in the presence of God and becoming a single, united union. Yes? Becoming one union, two people. In the presence of God. Haji Yunus? Is Muslim wedding in the presence of God? I'm forgetting the name, Jessica. Maxine? A Christian wedding in the presence of God. A Hindu wedding in the presence of God. Alright? There is a huge difference between a specific prayer, a marriage, and a birth. And a birth. For convenience, we cannot take all of these things and put it together. Because who's going to suffer? So I gave an example yesterday, and I want to give you this example. How many Hindus are living in India, you think, Jessica? At this point in time? Yeah, the population of India is 1.2 billion. 200 million is Muslims. I think very less Christians, so about 1 million Hindus. 1 million Hindus. 1 billion Hindus. Now I want you to be logical and analyze what the Guru is saying. 1 billion Hindus, what are the chances of birth in every Hindu home? If we go by what we want to go by now, then there will be no marriage in India. There will be no marriage because every day one cousin is giving birth somewhere. Yes or no? And when that 21 days is finished, there's another cousin giving birth somewhere. I'm discussing this scientifically and mathematically and logically before I go into Scripture. I have not even gone in Scripture. I'm discussing this with normal logic. Alright? That if that is the case and if that is the practice, then very little weddings in India. But because the population is so big, and that population cannot be illegitimate children. They come in from marriages. Yes or no? So these conveniences, the Pandit will tell you it's in the Garud Puran, it's in that Puran, in that Puran. We don't want to hear that. We want you to show us, Haji Yunus. The Vedas is like the Quran and the Hadith. The Quran is the principal instruction, the Hadith backs the Quran up. So in Sanatan Dharma we have the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita spoken by the Lord directly, principal instruction, followed by the Puranas and the Upanishads and all of that. Alright? So I think you met Vishwadhar last week. Yeah, I'm discussing his wedding today. Alright? 2 weeks ago you met Vishwadhar. So those of you that do not know, Haji Yunus, how long we go back? 35 years. Alright? When I met Haji Yunus, he was still called Haji Yunus that time. But I was just an ordinary, I'm still an ordinary human being, today I'm a guru. And I met Haji Yunus and Isa. Isa Bhai should be here in one of the weeks. You're going to meet him. I asked him to do discourses on once a month, Sunday on Islam. Open mandate. Alright? So earlier on I spoke about my divorce. Haji Yunus was not here. But Isa and I became very close because we both got divorced in the same month. And we both met with the same pain. And we got very, very close. And look at God, the Almighty's planning. Haji Yunus. We meet 35 years later. I'm a guru in my system and he's a guru in his system. Can you see this dynamic? All of you? I'm pushing the agenda of oneness from a long time. I'm singing the same song for a long time, and today it is materializing. Are there any questions? So this topic is quite a sensitive topic. Vishwadhar's parents might get upset, but I'm upsetting millions of parents around the world, aren't I? Aren't I? Yeah. When my own guru's ashram, his son started doing things wrong at the ashram, I went to India 3 times to fight him, Haji Yunus. I went to India 3 times to my own guru's ashram in India to fight because he was doing wrong. So if there is anything wrong that is happening, I have to tell you. Otherwise I must take all this and throw it away, wear my English clothes and go play snooker pool on a Sunday. Yunus bhai, you agree? Yes, if I'm doing something, I must do it 100% right or don't do it at all. So the scripture state, and I just want to read 5:20 from the Bhagavad Gita. I prepared a lot. I don't think Haji Yunus got time. Haji Yunus? I was supposed to read a whole lot of injunctions. I'm going to close. Vishwadhar is not transcribing today. Amita, Vishwadhar is not transcribing today. (23) Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 23. He who, abandoning the injunctions of the Shastra, acts under the influence of desire, attains neither perfection, nor pleasure, nor the supreme state. I want to repeat. And this is the Lord Himself speaking. He who, abandoning the injunctions of the Shastras, acts under the influence of desire, attains neither perfection, nor pleasure, nor the supreme state. And 24, therefore, let the Shastra be your authority for determining what should be done and what should not be done. Full stop. Knowing what is enjoined in the injunctions of the Shastra, you should perform your work here. So the Lord is very clear, Yunus Bhai. You can see, absolutely clear. There is no ambiguity in what He is saying. For you to be a Hindu or for you to call yourself a Sanatan Dharmi, you must follow your scriptures. If you make your own scripture, then you are not a Hindu or not a Sanatan Dharmi. And that goes in Islam as well. If you don't follow the Quran as expounded by the Lord, not the scholars. The scholars make their own story here and there, Yunus Bhai, you know the story. How the Lord spoke the Quran through Prophet Muhammad, you have to follow it exactly. If you change it here, then you became Allah. You became higher than Allah if you change it. And no one can become higher than Allah, so you can't change. Yes or no? Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions? Jessica? Satish Bhai? Ready to take the 7 vows?
Not again.
Okay. Jai Shri Mandir.